White parrots are often seen as just delicate birds. They have bright feathers, sharp voices, and quick, almost nervous reactions. But sometimes they notice things that we don't. They can sense danger before anyone else. This story is about one of those moments. It takes place in a quiet family home, the kind you'd find on any peaceful suburban street. In this home lived a white parrot named Snow. Snow had been part of the family for many years. He wasn't just a pet. He was an intelligent and observant member of the household. His favorite spot was a perch near the living room window, where he could watch the world go by, both inside and outside. He knew the routines of the house like the back of his own wing, the sound of the mailman, the timing of the school bus, the exact creak of the front door. He watched every movement, listened to every sound, and understood the rhythm of his family's life. Then one day, that rhythm changed forever. A new life entered the house. A baby boy named Adam. From the very first day Adam came home from the hospital, wrapped in a soft blue blanket, Snow paid close attention. It wasn't just simple curiosity, the way a pet might be intrigued by something new. It was a deeper kind of awareness. Snow seemed to understand that this tiny human was incredibly important and incredibly fragile. He started to learn the baby's unique language, the different cries, the soft coos, the gentle rhythm of his breathing, and even the quality of his silence. He became a silent, feathered guardian, watching over the newest member of his flock. One sunny afternoon, everything seemed perfectly normal. Adam, now a few months old, was placed on a thick, soft blanket in the middle of the living room floor. His mother, needing to grab a bottle from the kitchen, stepped away for just a brief moment. The house was calm. The only sound was the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the distant chirping of birds outside. But it was too calm. Snow from his perch noticed it immediately. The subtle shift in the atmosphere that humans often miss. He saw that Adam, in his sleep, had rolled over slightly. It was a small, innocent movement, but it had a dangerous consequence. His face was now pressed awkwardly against the thick pile of the blanket, obstructing his tiny nose and mouth. His small, twitching movements began to slow down. The soft, gurgling sounds he usually made in his sleep stopped completely. The silence that followed was heavy and unnatural. Snow leaned forward on his perch, his bright eyes fixed on the baby. He tilted his head, processing the scene. He knew, with an instinct that defied explanation, that something was terribly wrong. This wasn't the peaceful silence of a sleeping baby. This was the dangerous silence of a baby who couldn't breathe. Without a moment's hesitation, Snow let out a sharp, piercing call. It wasn't his usual playful chatter or his morning squawk for attention. This was a sound the family had never heard before. It was loud, repeated, and filled with an undeniable urgency. It was an alarm. At first, there was no response from the kitchen. The sound of running water might have drowned out his first cry. Snow knew he needed to do more. He flapped his wings frantically, not to fly, but to create a disturbance. He beat them against the air with all his might, knocking a small decorative vase off a nearby side table. It crashed to the floor, the sound echoing through the quiet house like a gunshot. Then he screamed again. A high-pitched, desperate shriek that cut through every other sound. This time it worked. Adam's mother, hearing the crash and the terrifying screech, rushed back into the living room, her heart pounding. Her eyes darted around the room, trying to find the source of the commotion. And then she saw it. She froze for a split second, the scene burning into her memory. She saw Adam, still and silent, his face buried in the blanket. In an instant, she was by his side. She gently but quickly lifted him, turning him over. Adam let out a huge, shuddering gasp, his little chest heaving. The gasp was followed by a loud, healthy cry, the most beautiful sound she had ever heard. Oxygen filled his lungs, and the color returned to his cheeks. He was breathing again. He was okay. As his mother held him close, rocking him and whispering words of comfort, Snow went completely silent. He sat perfectly still on his perch, his feathers settling back into place. He just watched, his duty done. He watched as Adam was held tight, safe, and sound in his mother's arms. He had done his job. From that day on, Snow was never just a pet again. He was a hero. His squawks were never ignored. His unusual behaviors were always taken seriously. He seemed to stay closer to Adam, his perch often moved nearer to wherever the baby was. He watched longer, and he reacted faster. He had proven that his bond with the family, and especially with this new baby, went beyond mere companionship. Years later, Adam would grow up into a happy, healthy boy, with no memory of that terrifying afternoon. He would never know how close he came to danger, or that his life was saved not by a person, but by the family's parrot. But his family never forgot. They would often look at Snow, perched quietly in the corner, and remember the day he became their guardian angel. It doesn't always involve incredible strength or speed. Sometimes a rescue comes from quiet attention, from noticing the one small thing that's out of place. And it comes from having the courage to make a lot of noise when it matters most. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tailies. We'll see you next time.